I think it was kind of exciting this week at mandatory minicamp. 2 out of the 3 days, they were up-tempo, a go, red zone on the last day. A lot of fun at minicamp as far as we were concerned.
Yeah, as much as it can be in June when you're not in full pads, Dan, I would say this was high-level football. Like you have seen a lot yourself being around with the Patriots. This was, I don't want to say as good as we've ever seen it, but the way they were executing in June, knowing that there's still training camp to come, I would just say this. If you love football, July 25th, Saturday, the place to be, Gillette Stadium, because that's when training camp starts. And Dan, like, they look good. They look like they know what they're doing down there.
It was such night and day from last year with Josh just coming in and Drake May as well. They were just, like Drake said, they were just trying to get the plays down. So they were walking through a lot of it. To have that ability now, to have that new facility, Mike, to go along with what they're trying to accomplish on the field, off the field, video and everything else that goes with it, they should be full go. Like you said, come down to camp and just watch.
I mean, maybe a good analogy as I was listening to what you just said was like a boxing match. What we saw last week at mandatory minicamp, they were slugging each other. Like, you had the offense and, like, touchdown, 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 trash talking. Then the defense recovers, Dan, and it's like bam, 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 bam. And they were, and as much as you can. There's no pads, there's no running game, but it was really good, spirited competition, and I would say it looked like they were executing at a pretty high level.
Well, one thing that stood out in my mind is watching right in front of us as he came to us, A.J. Brown running a route to the corner of the end zone, and he had Woodson all over him, and he adjusted to the football, got his 2 feet in, bounced down, and touchdown. It showed you the incredible athletic ability of Brown. So
let's simplify it, Dan, and I'm curious if you agree with me. There's certain times you see something and you say, wait a minute, that looks different, whether it's a player or a play. A.J. Brown looks different. Like the last 2 weeks watching him, agree or disagree, he was doing things, Dan, that you're like, well, there's a lot of things possible here for this offense with him, because haven't seen too many receivers come around these parts doing things like that.
Yeah, and he quickly, as you mentioned in your notes column today on ESPN.com, is he quickly took a leadership role. That didn't take long. Let's talk about the other group. Just maybe a thought on the group of the other wide receivers. We heard from Booty last week. We heard from him coming into camp this week. But along with Dobbs, he's bigger than you think. He looks like a tight end in that 87 that he's wearing. So I thought there were a lot of different things out of the group too.
Almost maybe one too many receivers, Dan. Like, I'm almost thinking about how's this going to shake out. You know, A.J. Brown's going to be here. But I thought Kayshon Boutte, probably my biggest takeaway, I thought he looked like one of their best receivers. He came back after missing the voluntary or staying away from the voluntary stuff. I thought he was moving really well. I watched him make a one-handed catch in warm-ups, made it look easy. To me, I thought to myself, they're trying to trade him, like, or maybe they're not trying to trade him, but
remember,
like,
he's in the final year of a contract. He's in a prove-it year too, so he's trying to prove anyone that I'm worthy of a multi-year contract extension.
That's right, and so maybe there's part of this on his side where he wouldn't mind it if they did trade him. But I'm almost thinking to myself, if I'm the Patriots, I might think twice about that, because put him out there with A.J. Brown, maybe Romeo Dobbs, you know, Kyle Williams, maybe his path is blocked a little bit, but it looked to me like he was catching the ball well.
He looks stronger.
Pop Douglas is out there. Efton Chisholm is catching balls. Mac Hollins is there. So when I say almost one too many, that's 7 receivers if I did my math right, and usually only keep 5 or 6.
Here I go again. We're going way too, we've already gone a lot of time here. Let's rapid fire some things. Quick thought of Tommy DeVito.
Thought he looked pretty good as the backup quarterback, Danny. You know, like Drake obviously is at a whole nother level, but when Tommy DeVito went in, didn't look like it dropped off too much.
Losing tight end Julian Hill, tough to lose him for the season.
Yeah, and I think that'll show up more when the pads come on. It makes, and Mike Vrabel mentioned, they might need to look at that position and add someone there, maybe a big physical block.
Like a veteran. You mentioned some names in your column.
Yeah, Will Dissly is one of them. Pharaoh Brown, who the Patriots had at one point. I'm not sure they'll go that far, but something to think about as we get closer to camp.
First-round draft pick, Lomu.
Caleb Lomu, all over the place. Left tackle, right tackle. Even saw him in at guard at one point, Dan. Again, we'll see what it looks like when the pads come on, but so far so good, I would say. Looks like he's really going to help him as one of their top 7 linemen. It
wasn't all sunshine and rainbows at camp this week. Gabe Akis, what's his situation, Mike? Mike Vrabel looked annoyed.
Yeah, and it was one of those things where he said he wasn't, but it sounded like he was.
You know when she's annoyed, right?
Pam, no, Pam, we're not going there. Pam, we love you, Pam. No, but Gabe Akis, second-round pick, not signed to a contract and not with the team, Dan. It comes back to something with the medical with him. Was in for rookie minicamp in early May, and I'm told hasn't been around much after that. And so they got to work through a little bit of a difference of opinion between his side and the team side. And there's some details to fill in there that I am personally not aware of. But obviously, if he's not around, they're not seeing it the same way right now.
All right, rest of the defense. I mean, you look at it, the edge rusher spot. Harold Landry didn't participate. Not a surprise there. Draymond Jones working a lot with Mike Smith, the linebacker rush position. Some other names, too. So kind of just mix them in what you're seeing in that position.
Well, that's why I think they need Gabe Akis, because that position looked a little light. But Elijah Ponder, Braden Swinson's 2 second-year players potentially figure into the mix there at the linebacker spot on the outside. And then on the inside, Robert Spillane, Christian Ellis working as the starters, and then maybe a little bit of a drop-off to the depth after those guys.
Final minute, thought on Kevin Byard. I thought he was real good in Gonzo. Looked like he was happy.
Definitely. Kevin Byard, you know, batting down passes in the red zone, looked like a leader, Danny, there. And Christian Gonzalez not participating fully, but there and engaged. Got to watch that situation, the top storyline, before we get to camp, if they can hammer out that contract extension.
No hangover. It appeared that way with the Super Bowl. It appeared new year, new leadership group. They look like they were gone.
And I think part of that's the way they turned over the roster, Dan. I thought A.J. Brown, just to come back to your initial point, created a surge of energy throughout the team the last couple weeks.
And you're going to hear coming up in just a few minutes, Pop Douglas. I asked him about mandatory minicamp, training camp, the time in between. What do you do? Mike Vrabel says it's critical.
Yes.
You'll be surprised, not surprised, but interested in what Pop Douglas has to say.
Always interesting, and I heard the players say they want to make sure they stay connected over the next 40 days. A.J. Brown, Drake May, going to plan to throw a little bit with some of the other receivers and quarterbacks as well.
Mike, always a pleasure. Have a great time at your camps, wherever you go for the break. We'll be working back here. We'll take care
I'm
of
here if you need me, Danny.
We'll see. All right. Thanks for joining us.
All right.